All right, our third is Tom Ross. Tom would like to talk about rental inspections.
We knew you were laughing at that.
Maybe I should turn it off. Okay. I'm sorry. I lost my place. Oh, thanks, John. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I'm here this evening to dispute the untrue statements purported by Mayor Murden and libelously printed in the Findlay Courier, Saturday edition, April 29th, 2023, where the mayor clearly stated that landlords are not subject to inspections or accountability. Following factual information, you will seize in direct dispute of those false statements. Of course, this is only about a third of the laws and rules that we're subject to due to time constraints. Just like to point out that every single law or rule I'm going to read, nearly every one has an inspector associated with it and legislation funded either by federal, state, or local government. As you're going to see, the rental industry is as heavily regulated as any industry in the state of Ohio. Here we go. Ohio Revised Chapter 5321, Landlord Tenant Laws and Responsibilities, Fair Housing Act, Ohio Residential Building Code, OAC 4101, Ohio Department of Health and Residential Structures Code Requirements, National Fire Protection Administration 101, Ohio National Electric Code, ORC 4101, Hancock County Public Health Department Rules and Laws, Ohio Landlord Drug and Eviction Requirements, Ohio Revised Code 5321, Ohio Domestic Violence Law for Landlords and Tenant Responsibilities, ORC 5321 and 3113, EPA Lead-Based Paint Rules, Regulations for Inspection and Disposal, OAC 3701, Toxic Substance Control Acts, 40 CFR Part 760 for asbestos handling and removal, Resource Conservation Recovery Act, handling and disposal of solid and hazardous waste, 40 CFR Part 268, OSHA 29 1926 construction standards, HUD and Metro tenant housing inspections, Wood County Commercial and HUD Associated Building Code inspections, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and of course, since I can only get through half, the City of Findlay Zoning and NEAT Office program, which has an inspector and a police officer on board. Cost to the taxpayer about $137 a year. So in addition to that, in this article, there was this poster child that everyone keeps talking about, this alleged tenant victim, Miss Deirdre Cole. Isn't quite the benevolent saint that Mayor Murren and the Courier would have us believe her to be. In fact, Miss Cole has 30-plus police calls to her former residence on College Street in less than 3 years. Calls ranging from drug activity, property damage, stolen vehicles, domestic violence, animal complaints. It goes on and on and on. Quite frankly, she has more police calls in 3 years than I have on all my properties combined in 10 years, which is a lot of property. Quite frankly, I would have evicted her at the first call. I would not have been as patient as Auditor Stashak was with her. I'm going to submit this police report to the record. John, I'll give it to you in a second. So it's clear from the article in the Courier that Mayor Murren has sort of libeled or slandered a $450 million industry, an industry that humbly serves this community and provides an invaluable service to thousands of tenants each year. It's pretty clear that that article was written to try to influence public opinion in a negative way, and perhaps it's simply either that or maybe Mrs. Murren just doesn't care about our industry, because quite frankly, anybody with an internet connection or a library card could have found out everything I just read you in 5 minutes or less. Truth and facts do apparently not fit the narrative that seems to be being pushed by the administration, which is landlords bad, government good. Sorry, folks, but that dog won't hunt anymore. So in closing, and on behalf of the Apartment Association, and quite frankly all law-abiding property owners and investors in Findlay, I have to ask you to cease and desist all such libelous and slanderous activities, Mrs. Mayor. Thank you. Questions?
Questions or comments for Mr. Ross? Thank you, Tom.
Nobody ever has questions anymore.
Okay.